Good morning. Well, I gave it the weekend, and I thought it would be valuable to weigh in on the possible ramifications with regard to China post the Trump-Biden debate from last Thursday. Now, to start and call this preemptive commentary, what everyone should anticipate is within the next week, probably two, a host of so-called China experts from the think tank community will more than likely be coming out with talking points and papers probably being written at this very moment, talking about how the performance by President Biden will work its way through, if you will, the global community, particularly with regard to China, and that I am anticipating a host of analytical documents and working papers and all of the sorts of podcasts and what have you to make the point that, well, given how poorly President Biden performed in his debate, will encourage the adversaries of the United States, which of course includes China, to step up their aggressive behavior and will do things between now and the coming election that Washington will need to be planning for. And it's going to be, all doom, all gloom, and it's all going to be centered on China. Interestingly enough, after the debate, I was very keen to see whether or not there would be any formal commentary or points of view provided by Beijing. So it was important to watch the 7 o'clock news here in China on Friday. There was no coverage whatsoever. It was very important to also read the People's Daily Saturday morning. Again, no coverage. So at this point in time, there's been no official commentary, as I would probably expect there wouldn't have been, from the Beijing government over this issue that has clearly consumed the entire American populace over the last 48, 72 hours. Having said that, what I do believe needs to be taken into account is that, be it China or any other nation state, ally or adversary for that matter, until conditions do change, until there is clarity, or as they say, right, the dust settles over what may or may not happen with regard to Biden running or not running come November, there's going to be a point of view that the Biden administration is now effectively a lame duck administration. And what this will mean is, again, ally or adversary. Number one, do not expect there will be any engagement on the geopolitical front for different sorts of agreements, be it on policy, trade, it doesn't matter. There's not going to be any desire amongst these nation states to engage with the current administration if there is an increased belief that the Biden administration will be replaced come November. So that's number one. Number two is pay special attention this week, given that the Shanghai Cooperative Organization is meeting in Kazakhstan, I believe tomorrow and the day after. Earlier this morning, it was announced that Xi Jinping will be attending. I'll be very interested to see whether or not Russian President Putin will also be attending. It is a heads of state meeting. Now, I'm sure behind closed doors, the subject of the debate will be very hotly discussed. But it's also important to recognize, and this goes back to my earlier point with regard to allies and adversaries alike disassociating themselves from the Biden administration, is you're going to see an increased divide, which we've already seen, between the G7 nations and the global South. This has been on the rise. You've seen the divergency between these two sets of nations. And without clear leadership coming out of Washington, and most likely, no matter what decision Joe Biden makes for his presidency and candidacy, there will always be back in the back of the minds of all leaders the question of whether or not plans need to be made now to begin to accept that President Trump will be the next president. And as we can all imagine, that carries with it a host of different policy initiatives, from imports to immigration to what have you. But the real reason why I just wanted to make this video was, again, we've seen nothing out of China commenting officially on the debate. And we've also not seen any real movement, if you will, with regard to what's going to happen at the SCO meeting later this week. So pay attention to that. See if there are any formal comments that are made, and pay, I would say, special attention if, in fact, Vladimir Putin were to attend that meeting as well. I'll probably jump back on at some point in time to address this very important issue as more information comes to light. But Americans being Americans, they are very focused right now on the domestic effects of the debate from last week. There has yet, to my knowledge, been any real or material thinking or commentary on how this is impacting so many other nations and what their focus will be on, or the approaches that will be taken, the engagements, the interactions. That will probably happen in 2 weeks' time once America gets back from the 4th of July later this week. In any event, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.